Hi, welcome to another Tuesday Pulse. In this session, I'm going to cover shadow AI. Your team is using it whether you realize it or not. So, somebody on your team is using AI today, and you probably don't know who or on what or with what data. And so that's what I'll discuss today. I'm Chuck Boyce. I run Cibi Creative, help small business owners figure out exactly what I just described. And since this will be recorded and placed on YouTube, I respect consent laws and request you mute. And so I'll stop the recording and get questions and answers afterwards. So, quick note, before I throw numbers at you, things change pretty quickly. And so this are stats presented as of August 2026. If you're watching a recording, go validate what the current figures are and don't take this as currency. This is August 2026. And so getting into the numbers, 60% of the employees say they're using AI tools their employer hasn't approved. That's more than a year ago. And so the big thing is that 93% admit to putting information into the AI tool without getting a green light first. And that's from 2025 Manage Engine Survey of IT Decision Makers. And so just think 93%, and they've taken client information or pricing or proprietary stuff and placed it into possibly a public tool. And that means almost everybody has done it. And so a lot of data has gone out there without the business understanding what was out there. So, and here's another part of the problem. Only 12% of the companies can detect all of the AI usage happening within their business. And that again is a SQ Magazine's 2026 compilation of shadow AI research. And so it's not just that people are using the tools you didn't approve, it's that you structurally can't even see it, even if you wanted to. So that's a huge problem. You, as a business owner, didn't decide to adopt AI. It decided for you. And so it drifted in to solve an employee problem, do something faster, eliminate some time crunch, but it introduced a new hidden problem. Here's what a lot of you owners don't get or get it wrong, is that they'll hear shadow AI and think it's a technology problem. Like it's something sitting somewhere and there's a way to fix it, but it's not a technology problem. It's a management problem, a communications problem. 3 things are missing and none of them are technical. There's no visibility in what's actually in use. There's no policy, not a failure because nobody knew there needed to be a policy yet, but there isn't one. And last, there's no owner because you can't assign ownership to something that you can't see. And so that's the last one. That's what's holding people back. You can't own something you don't see. So, example is in a client interview inventory session one time, not too long ago, a manager casually mentioned that several employees were using free ChatGPT, or not ChatGPT, but a free transcription tool to capture customer calls. And so it was something like Otter or something like one of the other transcription tools that you see pop into most meetings. And so the obvious question I asked is, who reviews the transcripts before they get dumped into a CRM? And the answer was review? I guess the team does. And so a few more questions in, figured out team actually meant that everyone assumed someone else was checking. And so that phrase, the team reviews it, is going to come up in a little bit later. But again, there was no ownership. They didn't review what was dumped into the CRM. And so they trusted that as gospel and they used it for business purposes. So now for you, think about this and write it down. Name one AI tool that you know is being used in your business that you didn't approve. It could be a note taker like Otter or Fathom, a graphics tool like Canva or Gamma. Maybe it's a vibe coding tool like Replit or Cursor or something like that. There's dozens, if not hundreds, that can slip into your business. And it's okay if you say, I don't know, but really It's a very common problem. The AI just showed up because it helped your employee, and you as a business owner never know that it was being used. So, how do you get a handle on this? And there's three different things that you can do. Number one is this is not a major project, but there's three things. And so, number one is the tools. What is on your approved software list? That is, if you have an approved software list. And then what is actually being used? It's a different list. And again, you probably don't have it. So it's not what's approved, but what's actually being used. And then number two is the data. What is going into these tools? Are customer records or pricing, internal documents, anything that's proprietary to your business that shouldn't leave the building, is that going in there? And number three, review. Who is looking at what comes back from the AI? And remember, if I said it's the team, that means no one. And so what you need to do is name a person who's responsible for reviewing AI input, especially if it's going to be used anywhere in your business, stored in a CRM, sent out in a customer email, in a proposal, however. Know what's being used, know what data can go in and what shouldn't go in, and have a named person review the output. So here's another scenario to get the point. An employee gets a customer email and wants to respond fast. He pastes the customer info into a tool like ChatGPT or Claude, the free version. They don't understand that. There's a way to turn training off, but they just go with the default. Nobody's trying to do anything wrong, but there was no policy, so nothing got violated. And the work got done. The customer got a fast reply. Nobody in the business had any idea where that data just went before the email was written and then sent out to the customer. So that's the whole failure. It's not a hack. It's not a breach in a dramatic sense. It's just somebody needed something. They put proprietary information. It went up into the cloud. The LLM stored it, and now it's available to everybody as part of the training. And so it could have been pricing. It could have been customer details. It could have been your proprietary information. It's not a hack, but your proprietary data is now stored in the cloud because the employee wasn't aware that it's being trained on whatever it feeds it. So, more data. 38% of employees say that they've shared sensitive company data with an AI tool without permission. Again, the SQ Magazine study. And so, even more alarming, and even higher, 65% of employees use tools their employer hasn't approved. 71% of those admit to feeding insensitive data. So it compiles, it builds upon itself. And that last stat was from STAR's briefing from June of 2026. And so these are recent studies, but it's a large percentage of people who are using unauthorized tools and putting in proprietary information. Again, they don't know. Nobody's been told. There wasn't the communications. It's a management problem, not a technology problem. And so here's a scary one, especially if you're in a regulated industry, in healthcare, financial services, legal, anything that needs real compliance exposure, it's a number that's worth thinking about. The average compliance exposure tied to improper AI usage runs around $1.8 million. That range is across company sizes. It's not a guarantee for a 12-person shop or a 5-person shop, but it's the realistic number in a regulated environment is that $1.8 million of exposure and loss is just huge that these businesses are not aware of. So here's what it is. It's part of my 5 blind spots, and this is the ownership gap. It shows up almost every business that we look at, and it's not because the owners don't care, because every owner does care about what their business is doing. It's because nobody is assigned. There's not a named person. They still think somebody on the team is going to do it, but there's nobody assigned to review AI output. Remember the transcript story? The team reviewed it. Turned out to be that everybody assumed somebody was doing it, but no one did. And that's the ownership gap. And so It's exactly what happened with the email scenario and the transcription scenarios. It's like no owner, no one caught it. No one caught it because it wasn't anybody's specific job. So here's what you can do this week. 3 things, and none of them require a policy document or a committee. And so number 1, run the inventory. What tools are being used? Check your data. What data can be used and what shouldn't be used? And then assign a person to review it. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be a starting point. Because again, if there is some legal case, some customer gets upset with you because they found out some of their information showed up in a chat response, and they decide to sue you, I mean, there are financial ramifications to some of this. And so to add a starting point. And in the court of law, you can't blame it on the AI. AI is treated as an employee, and so your business is responsible for what goes out. And so AI as an excuse doesn't work. And so name one person as your AI point of contact. Even if it's you as the owner, just write it down, have it documented, point people to the documentation. And a big thing is you can't ban the tools. You can't say don't use these tools, because by instinct it just backfires. It's going to drive the usage underground. It doesn't stop. If it's at home, you're not going to be able to ban it. The better thing is to let people know they can use it, but make you aware of it. Train them on the security aspects. Give them a sanctioned way to do it, and don't push it out of sight. Again, management, communications, find out what they're using, what data they're putting into it, and come up with a policy that says, yes, you can use it if you turn off the training and you understand the security risks. You can use this data, you shouldn't use this data. Again, policy written down, communicated. It's a management issue, not a technology issue. So one more set of numbers. This is something that we're going to dig into in a future session, but 58% of small businesses report using AI, right? Only 27% feel confident they're doing it well, and that's the Chamber of Commerce and Forbes studies. But the gap between using it and trusting it, that's a session on its own. But today, just wanted to show you what's actually happening. And next time we talk, we'll talk about why businesses that see it don't feel comfortable with using it. And again, that may go into the hallucinations and the trust factor and stories. There's a lot of reasons why they're not confident in using it, but they're using it anyway. So again, this was short. If you want to find a fast read of where your business are, I have a tool that's at governance.cibicreative.com. Short, free, 3 minutes, no registration, just if you want to get a hard copy of the report, fill in a form and get an email so you can get it. But it just gives you a quick rundown of things that you probably don't understand. The check will turn up something, I'm sure. So if you want to go further, you can contact me on my contact page at cibcreative.com/contact. A 15-minute fit call to determine if you want to go deeper and talk more. But in the meantime, I try to stay vendor neutral. I don't take commissions. I just assess, give you roadmaps, give you guidance. I'm an analyst and a consultant. And so, again, I don't push tools. I help you figure out how to use them more effectively. And so with that, I will stop sharing and